Welcome to Brain Bites, your quick dose of science and strategies for an unshakable brain. I'm your host, Dr. Kylie, and in the next few minutes, you'll get a sharp insight to feed your brain. This episode is brought to you by Dr. Rewire's Brain DNA Test. Check it out, learn more, and order yours at unshakablebrain.ai. If you are a practitioner and want to incorporate this into your toolkit, go to unshakablebrain.ai/expert. All right, let's dig in. When you talk to yourself, do you talk to yourself the same way you would talk to a friend? Imagine your best friend comes up to you and says, I messed up at work. I'm such an idiot. I'll never get this right. I'm a failure. Oh gosh, I hope nobody actually really says that. I am very, very careful about the head talk. And that's what today's episode is about, coaching your own brain and controlling the head talk. When you mess up, what does the voice in your head sound like? Here's the truth. Your voice in your head is coaching you every single day, every single moment. The question is, what kind of coach are you? If you are a coach who believes in yourself, pushes you forward, and helps you grow, awesome. Are you the kind of coach who tears yourself down, highlights every flaw, and keeps you stuck? Well, this podcast is especially for you. Most people are their own worst coach. They don't even realize it. Neuroscience tells us that our brain believes what you tell it. Every thought you think creates a neural pathway. Every time you repeat that thought, you strengthen that pathway. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, your brain starts wiring itself around that belief. It looks for evidence to confirm it. It filters your experiences through that lens. Now, this is not a mindset podcast, and I was very clear in creating this. There are a bajillion mindset podcasts out there. How your results in life are literally in your head. And one of my favorite one of my favorite posts I ever saw was by Mr. Beast, Jimmy. Now, my little boy, Easton, loves Jimmy. He wants to be a YouTuber. And I'm like, buddy, in 10 years, I don't know what it's going to look like. AI has changed everything. Mr. Beast was said in this image that I saw on the socials. When I accomplish something, I already accomplished it in my head a year ago. Let me say that one more time. When Mr. Beast accomplished something, he already accomplished it in his head a year ago. Your brain, what you say in your head, is that important. Now, as I look into this new business model of mine, and it's a completely new space for me, but I'm freaking stoked about it, between the brain DNA test and then LEMD with the peptides. I have people say, like, is this too good to be true? Like, are these numbers too good to be true? I'm like, look, all I need is proof that somebody else is doing it, because all that means to me is so can I. One of my favorite things about watching sports, and particularly the Olympics, which in 2026, we're going to have them. And then a handful of years after that, the Winter Olympics are coming back to Utah. You better believe I'm going to get myself to as many events as possible, as I live, 30 minutes from Snow Basin, which is where a lot of the ski events take place. At least they did in the last time they came to the Olympics in 2002. But I love the fact that when I see somebody else's dreams come true, that's proof to me mine can too. So I want you to pay very close attention to what other people are doing in a way that's not jealous, in a way that's not FOMO, in a way that's like, wait a second, if they can, so can I, if it's aligned with you. Okay. So in our Brain Bite episode today is you're going to be the best coach for your own brain. Tell yourself, I'm capable of growth. I can handle this. If this person created this, so can I. Your brain starts wiring itself around that belief. This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is self-coaching, and it's one of the most powerful tools that you have. The best coaches don't ignore mistakes. They acknowledge them, extract the lesson, and move forward. They don't shame, they don't spiral, they coach. So what does it look like to coach your own brain? First, catch the negative self-talk. Just notice it. Second, challenge this. Would I say this to someone I care about? Is what just went on in my head helping me or hurting me? And then third, reframe it. Not with fake positivity, but with truth. I made a mistake and I can learn from this. I'm struggling right now and I've overcome struggles before. One of the things that I've learned about running a business, especially in the year 2025, when AI became so prevalent and changed the industry, affected a lot of businesses in a negative way, I learned that one, it wasn't me, it wasn't my fault. Two, it was the entire industry. And three is I'm going to create something even better. Now that I know what I know, and now that I know what AI is doing and what it's about to do, I'm going to future-proof the next business that I create. And this Unshakable Brain podcast is starting that. So welcome aboard. If I can, you can. If you need to pivot your business, pivot your business. If you need to create additional income streams, you're in the right place because Unshakable Brain, the brain DNA test, can become that platform for you. LEMD with peptides can become that platform for you. And in fact, by the end of 2026, I'm going to have not one, but two, the end of 2025 this year, I'm going to have not one, but two podcasts. This one is Unshakable Brain. The other one is Pep Talk, all about peptides. So if you haven't seen that one yet, it's coming in the middle of December. So stay tuned. Peptides are, the more I learn about them, the more it's like, holy tamales. And if you are a practitioner and you're looking for additional income streams that will work in this post-AI world, then you need to get on board with these two things. So go to unshakablebrain.ai/expert, and then come middle of December, go check out the Pep Talk podcast, and that both myself and a colleague, Jessica Bricky, and I will be hosting so that you can learn more about peptides and how to incorporate these into your toolkit and make some additional side income. In fact, a lot of practitioners right now are already doing double what they're currently making from their clinics by implementing these affiliate type strategies in this post-AI world. Because I'm not going to lie to you, AI has changed a lot of things in business, and you have to change with it. Otherwise, you're not going to be running a business, especially if you're in the online space. Okay, so when it comes to coaching yourself, instead of, at the beginning of the year when all of my world was crashing down and I was blaming myself, it wasn't me. I needed to sit back and I needed to look at what really happened. And what really happened is AI. And it wasn't just me, it was the industry. So new things are coming, better things are coming from it. And what you say in your head will determine, one, your ability to move forward, two, the true results you're actually going to get. Your weekly challenge is to do a self-talk audit. Carry a small notebook or use your phone. Every time you catch yourself in negative self-talk, write it down. Don't judge it, just capture it. At the end of the week, read through what you've written, then ask yourself, if someone I loved talked to themselves this way, what would I write? What would I tell them? Write that down too. There's your new coaching script. Those are the words your brain needs to hear. You can't change what you don't see. So this week, see it, then coach yourself to better it. Our unshakable brain fact: your brain has a negativity bias. It's wired to focus on threats and problems more than positive experiences. This kept our ancestors alive, but in modern life, it means your brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. The good news, you can rewire this bias by intentionally practicing positive self-talk and gratitude. You're literally reshaping your brain's default mode. I think back to coaching. As a coach in athletics, I coached volleyball for a handful of years. In fact, one of the high school teams I coached, we took state. And then I decided to go to chiropractic school, and that was that. As a coach, it is very easy to pinpoint mistakes. You actually have to be self-aware and self-conscious about pinpointing the good things. If you are a coach, especially in a sports team, if you are a parent with your kids, it is a lot easier to pinpoint mistakes than it ever is to pinpoint positivity. So you have to literally consciously focus on the positivity and still pinpoint that out. I remember one time in a practice, we had two girls on this high school team. They were phenomenal. This was the team that won state, and the setter and this outside hitter, and the outside hitter was just constantly getting beat down on by the head coach. I was the assistant. It was him and I running practices, and she was out in the hall crying one of these water breaks. I went out there and let's call her Liz. That's not her real name. Let's just call her Liz. I said, "Hey, Liz, what is your confidence level at right now?" And she said, "A 0." And I said, "Thank you for being honest with me, because if you would have said anything else, I would have called you a liar." And then I said this to her. I said, "I want you to know something. Every day after practice, I have to make the 45-minute drive back to Cedar City, where I was attending college. And I have to keep myself awake. I call my mom and we talk about volleyball. There are two people on this team that I talk about, you and the setter. I don't talk about the other outside hitter. It's you and the setter. So you need to know that in my perspective, you, along with the setter, are the top two people on this team. I want you to go out there in practice, and I want you to play like that, knowing that you are the top outside hitter in this entire gym." Everything changed. When she was getting nitpicked and torn apart for the little tiny mistakes, I put positivity back in her, and pretty much changed the entire direction of our season. So what are you telling yourself? What are you telling those that you love, whether you be a parent, whether you be a coach? Like I said, it's a lot easier to pinpoint out the negativity. You have to consciously identify the positivity and reinforce that. I'm Dr. Kylie. I'll see you next week.